What's up guys, and welcome to another installment of AA Computers and Technology. Today's just going to be one of those episodes for the subscribers, because during the last installment of AA Computers and Technology, where I took a look at this HP compact desktop computer, someone asked me, what do you use for your old web server, or your current web server actually, because I mentioned earlier in that episode that I'm going to replace my current web server with this HP compact computer. I'm going to throw in 2 terabytes of storage in a RAID configuration, another 3 gigabytes of RAM, and this thing will be up and running for years to come, because it's a pretty nice PC, and I think it's going to work really well as the new web server for the AA Computers and Technology website. But before I do take down the old web server, I want to take you back into the closet and show you the setup, because someone was curious and I thought, what? Why not? I have this new camera. I don't have that much time to make a full episode of AA Computers and Technology, so I'll go ahead and appeal to a user's request. Let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, so lighting is pretty poor back here, and I'm going to pull the system out so we can get a better look at it. I'm going to take the website down for just a couple of minutes so we can take a look inside this PC. But this is our web server right here. You can see all of the computers that we used in the previous episodes of AA Computers and Technology, and all that stuff up there is just storage of PC parts. Oh my god, it's ready to come down here and crush me. But this is the Gateway 832 GM desktop computer. We're rocking 1 gigabyte of DDR RAM. I believe there's a Pentium 4 in here, clocked at 3.2 gigahertz. And then we'll see what other goodies are inside this, because honestly I can't remember. It's been a year, or actually 2 years, since I've put this thing in service, so I haven't opened it since. I just access it remotely through my my desktop PC over here and code using Adobe Dreamweaver, and I just upload it to the web server. So I'm going to go ahead and take the web server down, and we can take a look inside it. This is the monitor I use to access the server, perform routine maintenance every once in a while, that kind of thing, reset the WAMP program. And then right here, this is the keyboard that we use to access everything. Really not too interesting. I think the computer is definitely going to be the most interesting part of this video, so let's go ahead and pull this thing out. So this is it. This is the Gateway 832 GM, and I'm not sure if I said this earlier, but I did make an overview on this a couple years ago, and you can go ahead and check that out. I'll put the link in the description. So I'm not going to go too in-depth with the actual specifications and everything like that. We'll just take a look around the system. So in the back here, you can see that this fan right here is actually full of dust. And the funny thing about this system is when I actually received it and put it in service, I didn't service it before putting it in service. So it's been running for 2 years non-stop. I'm really scared. I don't know what we're going to find inside this thing, so I'm really anxious to open it up. It's going to be interesting. Probably a ton of dust in here. But if we take a look at the back, you can see the PandaLink wireless card that we're using for our wireless communications, and that's also being used as the wireless link to the outside world. So you guys, this is how you are getting to my website, not including the routers and everything else. Interesting enough, this PC has a WinTV card inside of it. Not sure why I didn't take that out. We're using the standard built-in Intel integrated graphics. Really, I just want to pop this thing open, so I'll take you guys around it a little bit more. Just panning around, panning around, panning around. Neither of these drives work, which was really frustrating when I was trying to get this thing up and running. And as you can see, the entire front panel is missing. It was like that when I got it. And I really think that's all I want to get into with this PC. If you're curious about anything else, you can go ahead and check out the full overview on this computer. This is using one of those weird BTX style cases, so kind of odd form factor, but it is pretty easy to service. Okay, let's see if I can do this with one hand. You know what? I'm going to put this camera on the tripod. To take the side panel off this PC, there are no screws. There's simply one little latch right here. And if I can remember how to do this, I think you just lift up on it and pull out. Maybe not. No? Come on. Don't make me look like a fool in front of everyone. Ha! Alright, we are in now. I finally got it out. And let's see if this video is going to turn into a horror story. Actually, it's not that bad. I'm surprised. Let me go ahead and bring the camera in here so I can get a better look at everything. Camera's off the tripod now. Let's go ahead and take a look in here. As you can see, I tried to add some additional lighting because it is pretty dark inside the computer case. It's currently nighttime out, so the lighting in here is just horrible. But as you can see, the computer despite what I said earlier, it's still quite a bit dusty. I said it didn't look too bad, and it doesn't look too bad from what I was actually expecting. I was expecting it to just be completely clogged up, but it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was. That actually looks pretty clear. All the capacitors are still good on this board. I thought after 2 years a couple of them would burst, but no, everything looks good. Really, the only thing that I've noticed is that dust has piled up in every little crevice and place possible. Right here, there's some dust, and probably under this cover too. There you go. You can see that fan right there is just filled. How's our CPU heatsink looking in there? Yeah, not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but still quite a bit dusty. There are probably 1 or 2 spiders in here that we haven't seen yet, because you can see cobwebs all over this WinTV card, and you can see that the WinTV card itself is absolutely filthy. Look at that. That's just nasty. Ooh, should I take my finger and wipe it off? Ooh, let's see. Oh, gross. That's gross. You can see that's just coating the card. That's so bad. We definitely need to clean this thing before I put it in storage, because I'm not going to clean it when I take it out again probably, and it's just going to pile up and become an absolute disaster. And then this card's the same way. Look at that. That is nasty. Let's just look around that. And the motherboard, surprisingly, isn't like that. The motherboard looks fine. Some of the cables around there are kind of dirty, but the motherboard itself is, you know, shiny. Yeah, there's not really any visible dust present on the motherboard. It's just all the peripherals sticking out of it. And you can see that even this IDE cable right here is covered in dust. I didn't take you around the power supply. The power supply is also coated in a nice layer right there. So if I wasn't going to decommission this server, I would definitely perform routine maintenance on this thing, clean it out, add some thermal paste on the Pentium 4 CPU, which, by the way, I didn't mention earlier, this thing does make my closet 1,000,000 degrees, so I'm going to be so happy when we get rid of it. It's just way too hot. But you can see the SATA cable right here leading up to our Western Digital blue hard drive. I believe this is a 320 gigabyte, 7,200 RPM hard drive. This is what our website has been hosted off for the past 2 years, and this is just a disaster waiting to happen because I do not have any backups. As you can see, it's not in RAID configuration, and I don't have any backup images of the actual drive, which I really need to make, because once that fails, we lose everything. So I think before I put this back in, I'm going to copy the www file from WAMP to make sure we have some sort of reserve in case everything goes wrong. Okay, 2 more notable things about this PC. One is that this cheap Hi-Pro power supply has lasted all 2 years without skipping a beat, and I was really surprised. I thought this was going to be the first thing to go on this system. And secondly, is that when I ran Memtest 64 on these 2 sticks of RAM, both of them came out with errors on them. But despite that fact, they have been running just fine for the past 2 years as well, so that was really surprising. That hasn't given out either. And I've had very little, if any, errors with the operating system installed on this computer. So, bad RAM, but system still runs fine. Alright, well, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope this video answered any and all questions you had about my website and web server. If you want to check out the website, it's at www.aacomputersandtechnology.com. Link is in the description, of course, as usual. Website is always a work in progress. I'm always working on it, and I recently just redid the entire archive section, so hopefully that's a lot more organized. You guys can find stuff better. Don't have that much in there yet because it's been really hard to get the content out. It takes forever to code this stuff in raw HTML, so I have to go in and edit every HTML file individually, put the images up, so it just takes a long time, and it's hard to get stuff out because it's just so time consuming. But I cannot wait to replace this web server with the HP compact desktop computer. When we get the funds in to replace it, I'll go ahead and make a video all about this. If you guys are interested in maybe participating in a Kickstarter fund with me, or for me, you know, go ahead and post in the comments section, because I would love additional funding to get more hardware, maybe redo the entire setup over here, because I would love to get some new lighting, and of course I would love to buy a camera similar to this, because I'm really loving this 1080p at 60 FPS. It's just beautiful, especially when I'm editing. I just notice a huge difference in the picture quality. So once again, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can go ahead and post a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video, and of course, do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you guys in the next installment of AA Computers and Technology, where we probably won't be using this camera anymore. I'm going to try to get a Canon Ti3 Rebel because that's the highest quality DSLR they have in at the moment. And hopefully we'll be able to use that in next week's video so we can test that out. Just a quick little post-video clip. You guys really need to hear how awful this thing sounds when I power it up initially. Hopefully the microphone picks it up because it is pretty loud and awful. Oh my god, this thing is about to die.